Good afternoon, everybody from the Holy Land on this Christmas Eve. I am Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, where I join you, my incredible community, every Monday to Thursday, and we take a look at the top stories in Israel that you're not going to see in your mainstream media in your countries. And we do it with the help of these guys, lay of the land. It is day 445. Now, yesterday, President Herzog announced that the 100 captives have been held captive by Hamas longer than diplomats were held hostage in Iran. I think it was in the 1970s or 80s. You can correct me which decade. So it goes to show you just how long this horrific situation has gone on for. The situation that they are in is dire. Every minute is critical for their survival. And it is on the note about a hostage, or rather a former hostage, that we start today's broadcast, albeit with some heartbreaking news. 77-year-old former hostage Hanna Katzir passed away this morning. Hana was taken from her home on Kibbutz Nir Oz on the 7th of October. Her husband Rami was murdered by Hamas in their safe room. Her son Elad was also taken captive. He was killed in captivity by Hamas, his body recovered by IDF soldiers and brought home for burial in Israel. Hana's daughter Kamit said that her heart could not withstand the heartbreak and the terrible suffering of the 7th of October. And it is a sentiment that was echoed by Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying her body and soul bore the scars of the horrors of that day. We mourn with the Katzir family. Hana will be laid to rest a little later today on her beloved Kibbutz Nir Oz. We send our deepest love to the community and to her family and loved ones. May her memory be eternally blessed. In the early hours of this morning, the Houthis fired more ballistic missiles from Yemen towards southern and central Israel, setting off sirens in southern Israel and very close to where I am here in Modi'in. We could hear the sirens and the booms of the interceptors. Now, the Houthis are the last remaining Iranian proxy that are attacking Israel. Although the Iranians say they have no proxies. I don't know what they would call Hamas. It is important to note that we are still fighting Hamas in Gaza. That war there isn't over. However, the rocket attacks have basically come to pretty much of a halt from the Gaza Strip in the last couple of weeks. The Houthi official yesterday said that they will continue to fire on Israel until the war in Gaza ends. Defense Minister Israel Katz has admitted for the first time that Israel was responsible for the assassination of former Hamas head Ismail Haniyeh. Called him the former Hamas head because he was eliminated in Tehran in the summer of this year. If you recall, it was very embarrassing for the Iranians and probably very heartbreaking for former Foreign Minister of South Africa, Naledi Pandor, who was famously photographed with Haniyeh when he visited South Africa and enjoyed a nice phone call with him in the wake of the 7th of October atrocities. The defense minister went on to threaten Houthi leaders to say that we can eliminate you as well. Now, over the weekend, 60 Minutes, which is, I think you could call them a magazine program, released a 13 or 15-minute interview with the Mossad about the pager incident. Remember those infamous pagers that went off a couple of months ago and took out pretty much the top echelon of Hezbollah? Well, you can learn all about it. All you have to do is Google 60 Minutes pager operation. It is absolutely spellbinding. I really advise you all to watch that. Quite extraordinary how the Mossad pulled off probably the most daring counter-terror operation in military history. And finally, it is Christmas Eve, and before I give you my greeting at the end of today's broadcast, and before we take the audience question of the day, which is a really, really great one, I want to read to you Prime Minister Netanyahu's message. I know that so many of you out there from so many different countries are celebrating Christmas tonight, and you have stood with us absolutely resolutely. And I want to share the message from the highest office in Israel, and that comes from our Prime Minister. He says, "My dear Christian friends, as you gather with your family and friends this Christmas, I wish the Christian community in Israel and around the world blessings for a Merry Christmas from the Holy Land. At a time when Israel is fighting on 7 fronts, we deeply appreciate the steadfast support of our Christian friends around the world. You've stood by our side. You've stood by our side resiliently, consistently, forcefully as Israel defends our civilization against barbarism. The people of Israel are united in defending our nation against those bent on our destruction. We seek peace with all those who wish peace with us, but we will do whatever is necessary to defend the one and only Jewish state, the repository and the source of our common heritage. Israel leads the world in fighting the forces of evil and tyranny, but our battle is not yet over. With your support and with God's help, I assure you we will prevail. From Jerusalem, city of peace, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year." Now, before I get on to my greeting, I want to get to the audience question of today, and it comes from Charles Dematis. Charles, I hope I pronounced your surname correctly. My apologies if I haven't. Who asks, "Can you explain the Jewish calendar and how long is the year?" Well, Charles, I love this question because you made me do some homework. So I had an opportunity to get the exact facts for you, and I learned a few things myself. So as many of you know, Jews follow a lunar calendar. So we don't follow the Gregorian calendar, we follow a lunar calendar. And a year is normally about 354 days long, which is 11 days shorter than a solar year. And we also have leap years apparently every 7 years. So I learned something new. I learned that we have a year shorter than the solar year, and I hope this answers your question, Charles, and keep them coming. So I want to get to my greeting, and I'm going to try and do this without tearing up, because I want to wish you and yours all over the world, from Australia to the Highlands of Scotland, from Trinidad and Tobago to Oregon, to the both coasts of the United States and everywhere in between, to Canada, to South Africa, to Zimbabwe, to Zambia, to Kenya, all over the world and everywhere in between, all of you who are celebrating Christmas. I wish you at this time of good tidings and goodwill to all men, a blessed and Merry Christmas from all of us at Lay of the Land, and from my family and my home here in the city of Hanukkah, and more about that tomorrow, to you wherever you are. May you be blessed in abundance. Thank you, as the Prime Minister said, and I want to echo, thank you for standing with us so resolutely, so steadfastly, and so passionately through this, our darkest hours. The situation for Jews around the world in many countries is absolutely terrifying. As the Prime Minister said, we are fighting a war on 7 fronts, and the way we see it, we are fighting a war as the vanguard of humanity against those who seek the destruction of our Judeo-Christian values and of our Western civilization. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for holding me up during these difficult times, for standing with us, for blessing us with your prayers and your blessings every single day. Thank you, and Merry Christmas. Just a reminder, there will be an Israel brief tomorrow as we start Hanukkah on this rare occasion where we have a confluence of both Hanukkah and Christmas. Our neighborhood dog's also getting in on the action, wanting to wish you all a Merry Christmas. I'm sure he will say Chag Hanukkah Sameach as well. And a reminder to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online, our Facebook page at Lottel's site, our YouTube channel right here at the Israel Brief. If you like our content, please like, share, subscribe, and share with all your friends. We are on X at Lay of the Land 5, on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks, and on Instagram at Rolene_Marks. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. If you're having a little Christmas tipple, have one for me. And I will see you tomorrow for a special Hanukkah message. Bye for now.